time for my first full garden tour, y'all, for the season. I'm very excited. I'm gonna take y'all through my vegetable garden first, and then I'd like to go around and show you some of the berries that I have growing around the outside of my vegetable garden. The gardens around my house, it's gonna have to be a separate thing. I've still got a lot of projects and a lot of beds that I'm still working on, and I'm not ready to show it to you yet. So let's go. If you see, I brought my basket today. I have some rutabaga and some collard greens that I need to pick today. It's a bit windy. I'm gonna set my basket here, and when I'm ready for it, we'll come back. So if you see here, here's my pergola that I absolutely love. Nathan did a great job. And on each corner, I've got a Vanessa grape. And there's supposed to be a table type grape variety that is seedless, but we will see. I've been picking off all the fruit right now. I just want them to put all their energy into growing up this pergola here. And it will eventually cover the whole thing. I don't know about you, but I can picture it. I cannot wait. I'm excited. Here in this section, I put some marigolds. Also some sunflowers. Some kind of struggled, and I put some more out. If you look close here, see, I have some more smaller ones. These are mammoth, so they're gonna get quite tall. And these are some seeds that just randomly popped up on their own. Now I'm gonna try to stay focused on this garden tour, but I have a tendency when I come out to my garden to be a little bit like a child in a candy shop. I get very distracted, so I will do my best. But if you see here, this is the area that we were working on last week, and we had that 16-foot cattle panel, cut it in half. One section is here, and I've been working on expanding this out. As you see, you can kind of see the fresh mulch here, and I've still got to go collect more rocks from the wildwoods here. In this arch is going to be my watermelons. I've got some Georgia rattlesnakes right here. And I'm hoping they'll fill out this area very nicely and come up over here, and then also over this arch. Got a tomato that came down here. They're getting so tall, y'all. A lot of these tomatoes have been getting flowers. I'm gonna just kind of been taking them off so that they just put all their energy into growing for right now. But they are doing great. Look at this. I've got a lot that I'm already having to weave through the cattle panels. And so I've kind of broken up my tomatoes. So they're all kind of mixed in with different things, as you see. I've got my garlic, and this is a random carrot here, and borage. And I also put out peanuts here. So each one has a peanut. This is a tiny little basil. And hopefully my marigolds will start popping up as well. I put out some marigold seeds that I collected from last year. So the tomatoes will have the peanuts and the marigolds around them. And I kind of want to camouflage my main plants that I want to get crops from. I've noticed that it's made a huge difference in keeping the pests away. I'll show you in just a second what I'm talking about. These are volunteer sunflowers here. So over here I have 5 arches. This first arch here is going to be a Jarndale pumpkin squash. And if you see, I've got all of this winter rye growing here, and then I also have some hairy vetch. Little sunflower. Now here is a Jarndale, and I've got one over here. And then 2 more over here on this side. And I've noticed a huge difference in these guys not having any pests. And they're still growing just fine, even though they're kind of covered. You would think they wouldn't be getting enough sun, but they are. But mixing your plants up like this creates bug confusion. That might sound a little funny, bug confusion, but it is a thing. It's real. The bugs have to land on their host plant so many times before a little mechanism goes off on their little head to start laying eggs. So in this situation here, so I've got these guys all mixed in. the bugs are not laying eggs or even bothering these guys because they're all just mixed in with the hairy vetch and the winter rye. Aren't these violas just gorgeous? I've got some onions that popped up from last year and they're starting to flower already, which is fine. I still eat my onions that way anyway. In fact, I just leave them in the ground and harvest them as I need them. And I did that last year and it worked just fine. I didn't have any issues with them rotting in the ground or anything. Now this arch here these are my loofahs. And you see how they're more open? I don't have anything really growing around them. And I've had to pick off some pests on them. I've been having some issues with some flea beetles. If you don't know what flea beetles are, they look like a little flea and they hop like one too. When I try to squish them, you kind of have to be a bit of a sneaky ninja and go in real slow. And then I've picked off a few. See, that was a flea beetle that just jumped off. You see that this little black speck there. So, there he goes. He just hopped, but I'm just gonna squish him, get rid of him. But I've had a couple lady squash beetles that I've had to pick off here. I haven't had to pick any bugs off the first arch because they are so mixed in with other plants. So I'm going to be working on getting these mixed up as well. Getting some marigolds probably planted in here. But I love the hairy vetch. It has just been really beautiful. I can't wait to take you over to my hairy vetch arch because it's gorgeous. These are some rutabagas, you see. So I'm going to pick this one today because it's drowning out the sun for this little pepper. You see that? This next arch here is going to be my cherry tomato arch. I've got different variety here. I've got a black cherry. And they're doing good. Look at that. They're kind of mixed in with some violas here. These came in real well. And this is the variety that I got as a gift packet. That's supposed to be a very, very tiny, tiny, tiny little tomato. I can't remember what it's called. You'll see me showing you this a lot in my videos because I love it. This is my wild strawberry patch. It is just so soft. It's soft on your feet and your knees, and it's just taken over. And you know what? It's an evergreen too. It died back a little bit when we got that single-digit weather, but a lot of things did. But it came back just fine, and I've kind of let it grow on my mounds, you see. I just love it. It's just too pretty. These are more cherry tomatoes. We'll see how they do. You know, these cages here are not super sturdy, you know. That's why I love the cattle panels, but we'll see. My littlest loves cherry tomatoes, so I wanted to get out as many as I could for her. This is the collard greens here I need to pick back as well. You know, they've been drowning out this poor little guy. It's like, I need sun. As you see, this side is much bigger. This is my Odessa zucchini squash that is a climber. So it will climb up this arch here. This is just beautiful, isn't it? This is hairy vetch. I used it as a cover crop during fall winter. And it has just been lovely. And I will tell you what, it's easy to come down. It's not like it really grabs onto the panels. It's not prickly or sticky or anything like that. So it comes down very easy. And I'm definitely going to be doing this again next year. And you see I put the winter rye down low. And it's just beautiful to have some greenery through the winter. And check this out. These are my potatoes. Look at this. Are they not gorgeous? See, they're already starting to flower. These are my Purple Majesty variety. I have found that the pests don't go after the purple potatoes as much. I don't know why that is. They still do go after them a little bit, but when I had the Yukon Gold in here with the Purple Majesty, the Yukon Gold got eaten up a lot more than the purple ones did. I don't know if there's any real science behind it. I haven't been able to find anything, but that's just from my own experience. And I like the purple potatoes. They're just fun, you know. Pretty. I put them in quite thick this year, as you see. We'll see how much we get. So this is all of my winter wheat. And I just did this for fun, for just to have some green in the fall, winter. In fact, I'll probably be going over it soon with the mower and just giving it to the chickens because I want to have a thick row of sunflowers down here. But for right now, we're going to just let that go. And I went ahead and cut down the crimson clover. It was gorgeous, but it was starting to die back, and I really wanted to get more airflow in here. It was getting so tall. And I took it all and I just put it down here on my mounds. These are some of my smaller tomatoes. So I had this row, first section here, I had my tomatoes get blight, early blight, which is very unusual to get it this early. They were still small. And they were all of my Brandywine variety. So I went ahead and just ripped them up. And I put out a different type. In fact, the type that I put out here is from a mushroom basket that I collected that was open pollinated last year. And they've been doing much better than the Brandywine. I think I still have one Brandywine left, which is a beefsteak tomato. These have not gotten blight at all, so they must be more resistant. You know, the blight is generally in the soil, or it can be passed on through bugs. They've been doing just fine. I haven't been seeing any issues. There's more carrots here. Huh? Look, it's gonna flower. I'm gonna allow all of my carrots to just bolt, and I'm gonna collect seeds for next year. Now, these are more volunteer sunflowers. I don't know what they're gonna look like because I think I had mammoth out here and then another variety, so it could have crossed. We'll see. But I just let them go. Look at this, they're all over. So I've got these tomatoes over here. These are more, see, this is a Brandywine. Right here, it's got the potato type leaf. And this is probably a mushroom basket or an open pollinated Kellogg's breakfast. I've got quite a few onions on this row as well. Let me see. This is one of those white borage. So pretty. Buckwheat. These are all popping up from last year. I like to companion plant with buckwheat. It's pretty and it pops up very easy. It's another way to kind of camouflage your plants. It doesn't get too tall. This is as tall as it gets. So tomatoes and other things surpass it, and it's not an issue for drowning out my plants. The neat thing about buckwheat too, it has the ability to bring up phosphorus from the soil so that your plants can use it. So that's another reason why I started using it. Look at these. I just love these. They are coming in so nice. Another borage. These. They're real pretty. And surprisingly, they're cold hardy. I didn't know that until one started popping up last winter. Randomly. I had interplanted a lot of borage with my squash last year. More buckwheat here. In this section, my dog Morrow, she's a year-old golden retriever, loves to trample down the crimson clover. She's been doing that since she was a puppy. But within here, I do have some comfrey, if you see these purple flowers. So my goal is to get this comfrey taking over. I've got, I think, 3 of them over here. See here. And then one over here. I'd like this section and to eventually propagate it all the way around the inside of my garden so the chickens have something to peck at I can use it to make my own fertilizer, liquid fertilizer. There's just a lot of great uses for comfrey, so I'm just going to kind of let it go. And I think it's going to be pretty as well. You see this? I've just been letting all my brassicas bolt. Because why not? And they've been growing just fine with my tomatoes. I know last year I was concerned because people said you shouldn't be growing brassicas with tomatoes because they compete for the same resources, but I haven't noticed any issues. They're growing just fine, as you see. So my soil has lots and lots of roly-polies in it, and worms, and it's very alive, which I love. But I noticed this year, I put my tomatoes in, and Nathan helped me a lot with that, and we were digging nice deep holes so that we could put the tomatoes in deeply so that they can have a nice deep root system. And I should have taken some of the bottom leaves off here that were touching the ground. See how they have little bites out of them? That was from the roly-polies. Now, roly-polies generally don't go after your plants. They like to eat dead things, dead plants, but they can go after your seedlings and stuff that is low to the ground. So next year I'll make sure to pick off those lower leaves so that roly-polies aren't attacking my plants. The scientists just did a study recently on tomatoes and tobacco, and they used this special microphone that picks up sounds that the human ear cannot. Some of the plants, they had picked off some stems, others they hadn't watered in a while, and some were perfectly healthy. And they noticed that the unhappy plants made a sound. And they said the sound that they make is similar to popping of popcorn or bubble wrap. And the more stressed a plant was, the more sounds it makes. So I found that quite fascinating. And even though we can't hear it, when our plants are stressed, they do make a sound. And scientists think that the bugs can hear it as well, which would make sense. And then they would not want to lay eggs on an unhealthy host plant. Generally, bugs want to lay eggs on something that's healthy. So yeah, this little plant, he's stressed out a little bit, huh? He might be making a little bit of noise. It's like this one came down, huh? Every once in a while, I have to tie them up. But most of the time, you see, they make it up to the top. And then I can just start weaving them through. Here we go. This is soybean. So I planted quite a few soybeans within my garden this year as well. Just as another way of breaking things up and also adding some nitrogen into the soil, feeding the plants. This is a pepper. I think this is a cayenne. Now here's one of those peppers that I overwintered. I kept them upstairs in my garden tub area, so they got some sun, and I watered them. And they came back just fine. And I'm pretty sure those are Tabasco peppers. I have 2 of them. So there's one more right over there. Wow, this porridge has gotten huge. Look at that. Oh, come here. Pick you up. So I kind of have an alteration. On each T-post, I have a tomato on each side. And, ooh, shoo. And then I have borage mixed in, and then the peanuts. And within this section, I kind of mixed in other things. Some of them have peppers. And I'll be moving my tobacco out soon. Probably in the next week or 2. And okra. I've got more okra that I'll be putting out here to mix in as well. And this is a big old patch of carrots. More collards. We'll just let those go. I'll be cutting some. In fact, I'll get my basket here in a bit. And I think I'm gonna make... I've got 3 Tahitian melons left from our harvest last year. I think I'm gonna make some more squash soup, and I'll use some of these collards in it as well. These They're getting nice and thick, huh? So this is a random squash here. I think this is a crookneck. Got some hairy vetch coming back here, and that's fine. I'm just going to kind of let it grow up with things. And I can kind of keep it in check and pull it down here and there when I need to. But look at this. Is this not gorgeous? Sadly, I'm going to be having to take this down this week. I don't want to, but my Long Island cheese has to get out. They're ready. It's time. And this is going to be their space. So I'm going to just cut things back and allow the hairy vetch to grow up again a little bit and just kind of see if they can grow together. Because I do love it, and it's so beautiful. It is a legume, so it does feed the soil and it feeds the plants around it. But yes, I'm definitely going to be doing more of this next year. It is just too beautiful. I wanted to show you something that I thought was educational. If you see here, I've got my tomatoes. I've got straw right here. That's just a massive weed. I need to dig that up. And I've got my little tomatoes, and you see how they're a little bit yellow? But this one isn't. It's a lot greener. So is this pepper. It's doing pretty good. Now I had put the chicken bedding down here. You see? And this tomato is healthier than those tomatoes. And you see over here? Same thing. This was all chicken bedding, and look at how much bigger they are compared to these guys over here. And this is the very same type of tomato. These are lemon blush. I planted them at the same time, but these are bigger and healthier because of this chicken bedding. So a lot of people might think this is gross and think that, you know, I should put it in a compost bin first and stir it up and all that, but I don't do that. I don't have a compost bin, and last few years ago I decided I would just experiment with this because every 2 weeks I clean out the chicken coop. And I didn't want to waste all that, so I decided I'm just going to put it out on a row and we'll see how it does. And it did so well. All of the chicken manure breaks down very quickly. And I think because it's mixed in with the cedar chips, kind of neutralizes the nitrogen so that it's not burning my plants. I've never had any issues with this burning my plants. As you see, they're doing just fine. So these stalks are so thick compared to these ones back here. You see how tiny they are? So this section I've just put down grass clippings, which is great to use. I use grass clippings as a mulch. Put it just straight down there. But that chicken bedding makes a huge difference. So the next time I clean it out, I'll be putting it on this row here so that these tomatoes can really take off. So this row, I went ahead and put a tomato on each end. I think this is another cherry. These are my pink-eyed peas. So we'll see how tall they get. And I'm excited to try those out. I think this is probably my favorite thing in my garden, is my teepee. It's just too cool. Especially when this thing is just covered in beans. So these are all my Chinese long beans. And they will grow up all over. You see all some of the leftovers from last year. This thing gets wild and messy and I love it. Nathan recently got a nice tall ladder, so I'll be able to get up higher this year and pick off some of the beans. But some stuff that's way up there, it's fine. This thing is just too much fun. So this is my black hollyhock here. Look at that. They're gonna flower soon. But you know, every time I've done hollyhocks, they always get this fungus. And I'm not quite sure what I want to do about it. I really don't spray things in my garden. I don't want to kill off any of my good pests, but I'm not sure if maybe a copper fungicide might work without harming anything. If anyone has any suggestions, let me know. Because I do love hollyhocks, but yeah, they get this fungus. I'm gonna grab some of these collard greens real quick, and then I'm gonna take y'all out and show you some of my berries. I think that's plenty. It's a nice little basket. Come see this one. These funny little mushrooms growing on my teepee. Do any of my mushroom friends know what those are? 'Cause I sure don't. They've been growing all over. These are old. I think I showed y'all everything in here. We'll go ahead and go out, and I'll show you some of my berries. I'm just gonna set this basket right here, and I'll try not to forget it. Well, this one here, this is my sun wheel of my Sweet Charlie strawberries. And I love my sprinkler. Y'all need to check this out. I love that thing. It's just pretty. Those are good. I have other little baby ones growing here, you see? Little tiny. These are all my Apache blackberries. And I got this variety because they are thornless, and they're also supposed to do very well out here in my area. And I see that they're starting to flower up here, getting some little buds. Hopefully we get some berries this year. So I've been taking these little shoots, see, and moving them over here. This area here, I want this to be kind of a berry lane. I want berries on each side, you see? So I took some and I planted the shoots here, you see? So I'm just gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna work my way down. This area does get more sun as the day goes on. And this tree is going to be gone. It's just so massive. Nathan just got a huge bar for his chainsaw so that he can get through these massive trees that we have out here. We've got quite a few in the wildwoods that have died. We have some sort of black mold going through our old growth. I'm not sure how to prevent it. I think the woods is just too choked out, and we need to get out there and just start cleaning it up. But look at these. These are my elderberry bushes. They've gotten so much bigger than when I first showed them to you. I've got 3 of them, but see, they're also starting to put out shoots, so I might take those and start expanding. And I'd like them to get tall and to kind of give shade to the chickens. And if berries fall over on that side, that's fine. Just give them something to eat. I'm thinking I'm going to keep going around the edge of our chicken run. Our chicken run goes all the way around my garden. And I'd like to get some elderberries growing on the outside, and then having the comfrey growing on the inside. So yeah, I've got another shoot right here. It looks like Morrow trampled it. I probably need to... I don't know if I can just safely dig it up without shocking it. I'm not sure. A couple years ago, maybe it was last year, I showed y'all my raspberries that I was trying to get going over here in this section. This area gets so wild. In fact, I just cleared it out. It's like a jungle. I get so busy that I didn't come back here enough, and my poor raspberries got overgrown, and they did not do well. So I lost most of them, sadly, but some did survive. These ones are the survivors, so I'm just gonna let them keep going. And you know, as they bring up their little shoots, I can take those and keep going down. And this section is going to be my raspberries. Y'all, this tree, I don't know what kind it is, but it smells so good. I love this time of year because they all flower. And I think I'm gonna go on a mushroom hunt with the girls soon. We'll put on our rubber boots and go out, and I'm gonna take some pink ribbon and mark all of these trees. Do you hear the owls? I love when they do that. They hang out in this section over here, and I hope that isn't that so cool? I love when they talk to each other. I don't normally come back on this side without boots because I don't want to step on a snake. I could just listen to them all day. If anybody knows what kind of tree this is, let me know in the comments. Because I always enjoy this time of year because when the wind blows, oh, it smells so good. They're all throughout our forest here. Today looks like a good day to just lay out and read a book. All right, y'all, I think that's everything. Now I want to show y'all the gardens around my house, but I'm not ready yet. I'm still expanding some areas and starting new beds. Ah, there's a rock. I'm gonna bring this back. I was gonna bring this over to my garden where my watermelons are. So I think that's gonna be its very own video. I don't know what they're talking about. I always hear them, but I never see them. But y'all, it's getting to that time where I'm gonna be ready to do a show me your garden video. So probably this next month here, I'll come out and I'll let you know that I'm ready for all your videos and photos of your garden. And then I can start working on putting a video together. Because I love being able to see your gardens. And I'm hoping to get my family in on this one. Because I've got some incredible gardeners on both sides of my family. And I'd love to be able to showcase their gardens as well. There's my basket. I would have forgotten it out here. I got more big ones out in the wildwoods. I just need to bring my wheelbarrow and go get them. Come here, Muddy Puppy. You're gonna need to be hosed off. All right, y'all, that's gonna be it for today. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.